What's up, guys? So for today's video, we've got a nice matchup for you. We've got the coveted ST14 Luffy, the one that is taking Storm in the West. It is easily a top tier black deck. It's not Lucci level crazy, but it is still a pretty damn good deck for what it can do. Honestly, I mean, Gecko Moria is just Gecko Moria, and obviously something they need to do something about that card here soon. But I do win the die roll, and it doesn't look like he gets a one drop. And I actually draw into the brand new here, while I already have Kuzan in hand, plus Rebecca and Jack. So I'm sitting pretty nice right here. The brand new will grab us a Borsalino, ditching a Brook and a Robin in the trash. Borsalino was the only target here. And honestly, his hand isn't looking the best. He would be in a much better spot if he won the die roll here. And he actually opts to swing 7. I guess so he could rest the brand new. I'm not really sure if that was necessary, but I was going to take the hit regardless. So I guess swinging 7 there is fine. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to make the obvious play. We're just going to swing 5 at his life. He's going to rest the brand new. And Bonnie typically will take the first hit as well. And then Kuzan's going to get on the board and draw us a Tashigi, which is going to be great, obviously. So he's going to be on his 5-Don turn. He can do a few things here. He can swing 6 and drop the Uroge, or he can play out a Basil. It really just depends on what he's trying to play around right here. I think personally, I probably would try to establish this Cavendish right here, which is what he does. So he's definitely making the right play here, and he's going to swing 6. And I actually think this is going into my life here. I think I'm contemplating if I want to give him a 2K, and I kind of just want to put this Suru in trash early. That way, whenever I do draw a Gecko, if I really do need it, I can take advantage of that. So we're on our 6-Don turn here, and I know that whatever I swing with, even if it's the Kuzan or the leader, one of those two is going to get rested afterwards. So the correct play here, honestly, is to just swing 7 with the Kuzan at his life and see what he does with that. We're also going to be reducing the Basil here or the Cavendish here and taking advantage of a very specific, pretty broken card in our hand afterwards. This card honestly doesn't really deserve to do what it does. So we swing 7, we reduce the Cavendish. As I said, he's gonna just rest the leader. We already know that's gonna happen. And that brand new that we got early is gonna come into play. We're gonna play the Rebecca, grab the Brook, and pop the Cavendish. So if that Cavendish could have stuck, then it would have been a really good play. I also could have just flat out dropped the a Brook from my hand if I had one. So it is really kind of hard for Bonnie right now in this game state because of the way that the game is developing. I have a Kuzan on board with a blocker. He only has 1 attack. So worst case scenario, I could give him the Rebecca and the Kuzan will still be up for another turn. And I'll be going into 8-Don, meaning Gecko or Jack could come out potentially from my opponent's perspective. But as we all know, looking at my hand, it will be the Jack that hits the board. It just has to happen because it's something that he just can't really remove in Bonnie. Once Jack hits the board, it's quite impossible for them to remove that. They can use the leader ability, so where if I need to use like a Kuzan to swing, he can just rest the Jack. So I guess that's really the caveat behind it. But if I have any sort of reduction, like an Ice Age, or even like a Suru or something to allow me to reach, then it doesn't really matter. Or if I have Jack on board and I just play Robin, then it still kind of works out the same exact way here. So he's gonna swing 6 at, I believe, the Kuzan here, meaning that he has 6-Don up. Yep, I'm just gonna give him the Rebecca, or am I gonna give him a 2K? Yeah, we're just gonna give him the Rebecca here. That way, again, we want that to be in trash. We already have another Rebecca in hand, so it's perfectly fine. But he does stun my Kuzan. It slows me down a little bit. It's not really that much of a problem though, honestly. We do have a pretty good play here. If we make the right one, we're on 8 Dawn. We don't really need to always worry about our leader being at 6k here. We don't need the cost buff either. So we can actually play this Suru from our hand, reducing the Bonnie by 2 costs, putting it in Jack range, which is definitely going to be the best play here to establish a Jack on board. Yes, I lose a 2k, but I'm still sitting pretty healthy at 4 life here, and it's not really going to matter too much. So then we go ahead and swing 5 at his life to play around any sort of rogue triggers. He's going to rest the Brook, which is perfectly fine. We don't really care about that at this point. He's probably going to give us a 1k here. I don't imagine him taking this hit. Yeah, so he's going to give us the Eroge. We're going to pay 1, play out the Suru, reducing the 5 cost Bonnie to a 3 cost, playing this insanely broken card, Jack. And we're going to draw a brand new, and we're probably going to cycle out that brand new as well. That way we have brand new Rebecca and Trash KOing the Bonnie, and we're just going to go ahead and pass turn. So we're in a pretty healthy position here. This game is not really going in the Bonnie's favor at all. Black is pretty rough for Bonnie. It's not unwinnable, but if they even remotely draw well in black, it does seem really hard, considering the fact that green just doesn't have the removal. Yes, you can carrot the Kuzan and prevent it from restanding, but that's all you can do. The Jack is not a 7 cost while it's on the board, so carrot or Electro Luna doesn't work on it. You can Dofi the Jack, and a Dofi here actually would be pretty damn good, if I'm being honest. You could swing at the Brook, hope that I give it to you, and then stun my leader, my Kuzan, and my Jack. And then at that point, you could try and stabilize here. I can't see his hand, so I don't know if he has the Dofi. Oh, actually, he's at 9 Dawn anyway, so he can't even do that. He's probably going to Hody then, which doesn't really feel bad at all. If I'm Hodying here, though, I'm probably just sending everything on Jack here. So I would probably just swing, let's see, 5 at Brook, see if I protect it with a 2k to get a 2k out. If I don't protect it, then at that point you just kind of have to commit to it already, or you can swing into the Kuzan and see if I protect that by sending everything on there. He's on 9 Dawn, so he'd be swinging 10 at Kuzan, and at that point Kuzan will just die. We'll just have to let him go. So there's the Hody. Actually, Hody does come out. He has 2 Dawn left. It's really hard to leave a Dawn up right here, to be honest. I don't know if it's really worth it to leave the Dawn up, because something needs to get off the board. If you're gonna do that, then you could swing 9 at Kuzan and hope that I don't give you 3 cards for it. But I would definitely swing 5 into the Brook first. I probably would have did that before playing the Hody out, as to not telegraph your play, because now I know exactly how I need to play around your potential plays here. So yeah, he's gonna swing 5 at the Brook, as I already knew. So, and because of that, I'm definitely gonna give him that. I maybe would have given him a 2k if he didn't show me the Hody, to be honest. And he's just gonna swing 9. So that's 2 2s and a 1. We're definitely gonna give him that. Had he have swung 10, that would be a different story, because I don't have another 2k. So it's really hard to say if it's correct to swing at that. But regardless, had he have swung 5 first, I probably would have given him the 2k, to be honest. But now we're in a position as to where we just have the answers on board already for the Hody. So now we just need to figure out how to properly sequence and what we're going to do for the follow-up. I'm trying to decide how much I want to put on Kuzan here. I have another Jack in hand, so we don't need to worry about that. We're probably just gonna swing what is that, 7, then 7 with leader, and then play Jack out. We do have Ice Age in hand, but there's really no point in me using that right now, in my opinion. It's better that you just use the Kuzan, and then I could just hold the Ice Age. That's what I would imagine that I do here. It looks like that is what I'm doing. I'm swinging 7 at lead, reducing the Hody here. He has to rest the jack. He can't afford to rest the leader. So the jack has to get rested. Unfortunately for him, I do have another jack in hand. But regardless, even if I didn't have Kuzan on board, I could have just Ice Aged and then used the jack anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered. But having double jack on the board just kind of puts the nail in the coffin, honestly. Now he's deciding to counter out. He gives me a 2 and a 1. We're gonna swing 7 at lead again. He has to give me another 2 and a 1, but he could also choose to take it here. It's kind of hard to decide. I think honestly right here I probably would have took this hit, and then look, I can actually see his hand now. I probably would have took this hit and then played out Kid Rosinante the following turn. Bonnie can afford to play on low life. It really is. Their life is actually kind of a resource for them because they don't have any draw power in their deck. They don't really have any way to filter either. So I probably would have took this hit here. I don't know if he's going to, but it looks like he's kind of flirting with countering. I think personally though, taking this hit is the better option. I understand that my board is kind of crazy, but you're gonna have to try to find a way to stabilize. That hit that you could have took just now could have been a Doflamingo, which could potentially help you, honestly. I don't think Kid Rosinante helps you here. It kind of does, but Dofi probably helps you stabilize a bit better. He does see his first Basil. This doesn't really help him at this point in the game. If he had it a little bit sooner, then most definitely it would be good. But the problem is that you're staring down 2 jacks, so no matter what, I can play around the Basil if it hits the board, because I can swing first with Kuzan. You'll have to rest one of the jacks, and at that point we just swing with the rest of the board and use Jack's effect to pop the Basil anyway. So Basil doesn't really get him much here. I think considering the fact that he didn't keep the Rosinante, it's hard to play the Kid. He's just honestly in a rough spot here. He's gonna swing 8 at Kuzan. We're just gonna let it go. We have Ice Age. We don't even have the counter to protect it anyway, so he's just dead. He passes turn, plays out the Basil, and as I said, this Basil is not gonna do a whole lot for him here, unfortunately. I actually think this might be the final turn if I remember correctly. I think he just ends up scooping. Let's see. More than likely, I'm going to play the Ice Age here to reduce the Basil down to a 1 cost. And then swing with my leader. That way, if I swung with the Jack first, he's just going to rest the other Jack and the Basil's going to stick. So I'm likely going to swing with leader first. Right here, I'm just mathing out the cards that I'm going to use. This is kind of just a weird strategy that I use. I'm not sure if anyone does this, but I like to set aside the cards that I know is for sure going to happen from my hand or the Dawn amount. And then that way I know how much to play with on the board. So I know I'm going to swing 7 with my leader, which is why I set that aside. And then that 5 Dawn that I have right there, I know is going to be Ice Age Rebecca. That is just going to happen regardless. So I'm pretty sure that I'm just going to swing 7 life here. And unfortunately, like I said, he countered out of a hit that I maybe think he should have took. Yeah, he has Basil on board, but like he probably could have still had the Kid on the board if he didn't do that. So he's gonna block, give me a 2k. So the 2k is out. His hand, as you can tell, has absolutely 0 counter at this point. So he's kind of just left taking everything else. So we're gonna swing 0. Again, I don't know that I could have killed him here. And then we're gonna swing 7 because this is just the correct play. That's the Dawn amount that I set aside afterwards. So he just takes that one because, as I said, he has to. We Ice Age the Basil, we Jack. We're gonna draw a card. It is going to be brand new, and I believe we're probably just gonna trash the brand new. Yep. And then we're gonna play a Rebecca here to grab a 2K, but I think he just scoops here. This is honestly at this point just game. There really wasn't much they could do, but let me know what you guys think about the video, about the game, and like and follow for more.